Hi everyone, this is Ashley, and happy Earth Day. I picked today specifically because it is Earth Day, and I love to celebrate anything within the earth, or helping the earth, connecting to the earth, and so just want to give some education on ways that you can connect to the earth and also be more sustainable and help the planet that you're living on at this time in your life, right? In this existence. So Earth Day is, a global event, and it's annually on April 22nd. And it focuses on environmental protection, sustainability, and care for the planet. So it's both a celebration of the earth and a call to action to address issues like pollution, climate change, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. Earth Day began in 1970 in the United States, and it was organized by a U.S. Senator, Gaylord Nelson. I have no idea who that is, but he wanted to raise awareness about environmental issues after major oil spills and growing pollution concerns. And so the first Earth Day involved about 20 million Americans, and it was a massive movement at that time. And it has helped lead to the creation of key environmental laws, agencies, including the Environmental Protection Agency, which unfortunately my brother's boat just sank, and so he has learned about the EPA. He was already sad enough about his boat, and the EPA has come after him. Earth Day is now observed by 190 plus countries, and it's coordinated globally by earthday.org. And so I invite you to check out the website, because there's just so much information and like ways that you can connect, like do, I don't know, around here, like beach cleanups, but even actual toolkits that that show you exactly how to set up events in your areas, whether it's like you wanted to give education somewhere, you wanted to set up a group to do XYZ, and there's just, I was looking at the site, and there's just so much, and pamphlets, things you can post on social media, a lot to get people involved if they're interested. And so each year highlights themes like climate action, plastic reduction, renewable energy, conservation, and biodiversity. And common ways people celebrate are planting trees, starting gardens, cleaning up parks, beaches, neighborhoods, reducing waste by recycling, composting, and going plastic free, and attending environmental events or workshops supporting sustainable brands and practices. So this past weekend, I went to, it was an event that was organized at the, oh my gosh, I forget what it's called. It's in Titusville, and there was different booths out there, and they discussed anything, like the Beekeepers Club was there, which I sometimes attend the club, the Native Plant Society, which I'm a member of that, and teaching about the growing the native plants in your area, which probably most places have chapters. So that's, if you're interested in learning about the native plants in your area, you can look that up and see if there's an actual chapter that you can get involved in, or even just research the website, and there's all kinds of things you can learn. There's a lot of information on protecting the shorelines here, and also the Indian River Lagoon, which where I'm at right now is at my mom's house that's on the river, and she's right on the Indian River Lagoon. So I really was trying to find out information on what I can do here to actually help, because I'm actually right here. And my mom, she said that it doesn't qualify anymore, but the lady was telling me that they're trying to get people off of septic or get the ATU septic, which is I don't know the exact lingo, but it's better. It breaks down everything so that it's not getting into the waterways the same way. And so the area actually, that project will actually give people grants to connect to sewer if that's available, or if that's not available, then to upgrade their septic tank to the one that's actually going to protect the environment more and protect the Indian River Lagoon specifically in this area. But I let my mom know that, and she said that there's already a process, zoning process for this area to get a sewer line. So she's like, yeah, it's not, she won't get a grant for that because there's already a plan in this part. Let's see. And then beyond the environmental side, Earth Day can also be seen as a ritual of connection, a moment to ground to the earth element, honor the body as part of nature, and realign with cycles of growth, stability, and nourishment. And so some meaningful and fun ways to celebrate Earth Day at home. You can plant something, a tree, flowers for pollinators, herbs, or even start a small vegetable garden. I have a herb garden that seems to be doing pretty well. It's living and it's staying that way, which is nice. I have a lot of plants too, but I love my little herb garden. And you can start composting to reduce food waste. You can switch to eco-friendly products like reusable bags, water bottles, bamboo toothbrushes, etc. I used to be really obsessed with my glass bottles. I should probably get back to that, but it's a lot of work to fill up those bottles all the time. But now I have this bottle, which I researched this one for if I'm going to get plastic. It's the world's first ocean plast bottle from 100% post-recycled ocean plast. Filter 100% BPA free. I don't know. I guess if I do plastic, then that's the one. And then do a home energy check, and so they say switch to LED bulbs. Right now, now it's kind of hard to get away from them. You have to make an actual effort, especially I was trying to buying fans. All the fans contain LED lights, and so I don't really use the light, but I personally work in LED lights all day, and luckily I have a little switch where I can actually dim it, so that makes it okay, I would say. But when I'm home, I do not want LED lights. and unplug unused electronics. And so I never heard of that until I was looking at this, and so I've got some electronics that I need to, go through and get out of those plugs. In your community, you can join a local cleanup, park, beach, roadside. The website actually has an event, like an event tracker, and you could put in the dates and look in your area of all that's available. So that, I don't know if that's only for like right now, like Earth Week, Earth Month, or if organizations or groups actually continue using that as a way people can see when people are doing events. So I'm going to have to pay more attention and look into it over the next year. You can support a farmer's market or buy from local businesses and donate to or volunteer with an environmental organization. And the website also has links for donations. And I'm not affiliated in any type of way. I'm just flirting about it. You can watch an environmental documentary, read about climate change or conservation solutions. There's a lot of really great articles, and even links to studies, and there's just a slew of information on the site. And you can share Earth Day tips or facts on social media, teach kids about recycling, wildlife, or reducing waste. And then change a habit, even if it's just for the day. Walk, bike, carpool instead of driving. Go meatless for the day. I am all for that since, I have a plant-based diet. I know some people have like meatless Mondays, or they just pick a day and they just don't eat meat. And then take shorter showers to conserve water. I'm the worst with that one. I have the shower head that wastes water, but just practice. Wait, I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh. You can get creative, make art from recycled materials, write a poem or a journal about nature, and start a nature photography challenge. And grounded, soulful practices like spend 20 and 30 minutes in nature, barefoot on the grass, sand, or soil. And if you don't like to be barefoot, just go outside. And you can create an earth altar with stones, herbs, soil, symbols of stability. You can sit with a tree and do a nature meditation and observe without distraction. And a journaling prompt could be, what does the earth ask of me right now? One thing I like to do when materials are available, and sometimes I actually buy the materials, is make mandalas, and a lot of times I'll leave them on the earth and just like a pretty circle of flowers, and just like an art piece to just cut the heads of flowers off, or use different twigs and things like that, and just make a beautiful piece of art for the earth and for that area. And then meaningful action, you could volunteer with groups like Earth Day Network or local conservation organizations, host a clothing swap with friends. This reduces fast fashion waste. I actually attended one of those in December, so I just like went through my closet, and anything that was still nice that I know I'm never going to wear again, put it in suitcases, and everybody brought their clothes and took what they wanted. And then everything that was left over, we took to donate to the Goodwill. Invest in sustainability, like solar programs, ethical funds, local agriculture, and then audit your lifestyle. Where are you unconsciously over consuming? And then fun, social, elevated gatherings could be like hosting a farm-to-table dinner party, using local seasonal foods, and an eco wine night for the people who like featuring organic and biodynamic wines, nature picnic and gathering, and invite people to bring zero waste meals, and add a conversation theme like, what is one habit we're each changing this year? I like that. And a little transformational alchemical ritual that you can do is write down one extractive habit, such as that is overconsumption or disconnection with the earth or waste, and then safely burn it as a symbolic calcination release, and then write a new vow of reciprocity with the earth and bury that intention in soil or place it under a plant to grow. And then some things you could watch is something like it's called Kiss the Ground or Our Planet, and just to get information on ways to connect and help the planet. And then you can read about regenerative agriculture, permaculture, and climate psychology. And instead of doing everything, just choose one thing. So like go zero waste for a day, eat 100% plant-based meals for a day, or buy nothing new. Oh, that's hard. Spend 2 hours fully immersed in nature without your phone. That's the one I like. I already do the plant-based one. So on a different, shifting the way that we speak about the earth, let's talk about Gaia. And Gaia is a powerful and layered concept that appears in mythology, philosophy, science, and modern spirituality, and at its core represents Earth as a living, conscious presence. And so in ancient Greek cosmology, Gaia is the primordial earth goddess, one of the very first beings to emerge from chaos. And she is the mother of all life, giving birth to the sky, which is Uranus, the sea, Pontus, and the Titans, and many other beings. Gaia represents fertility, stability, and generative power of nature. She is not just on the earth, she's Earth itself. So in the myth, Gaia is both nurturing and fierce. She protects balance and can rise in response to injustice. And then the Gaia hypothesis in the science is the idea that suggests that the Earth behaves like a self-regulating system where living organisms interact with the atmosphere, oceans, land, and maintain conditions for life. For example, the plants, the oceans, the microbes all help regulate the temperature and oxygen levels. So it's not saying Earth is literally conscious, but that it functions like a living organism in terms of balance and feedback. But it's obviously conscious. And the Gaia in spirituality and mysticism is is that Gaia is often experienced as the consciousness of the earth, a maternal grounding presence, and a source of healing, stability, and embodiment. And then working with Gaia energy involves grounding rituals, such as being barefoot on the soil, doing stonework, herbalism, and plant connection, deep listening to the body and nature. She embodies the earth element in its full expression: support, patience, nourishment, cycles, and manifestation. So Gaia represents foundation, which is what holds everything together; embodiment, being in full physical form; creation, life emerging from matter; and interconnection, all systems influencing each other. So instead of thinking of Gaia just as an idea, you can relate to her as the intelligence that breathes through the soil, grows through the plants, and stabilizes your body. Even your bones, minerals, and nervous system, rhythms, echoes of Earth's structure. So in shamanic traditions across the cultures, the earth element is not symbolic in the abstract. It is alive. It's conscious and relational. Earth is the great mother, the body of spirit made tangible, and it's where the energy comes, where the energy becomes form, where intention becomes reality. So Earth represents stability and grounding, materialization, ancestry and bones, reciprocity, which is the sacred exchange between human and nature. And in many traditions, earth is not something you use, it's something you are in relationship with. And so that's where, for a lot of people, that's where the disconnection is. So in the shamanic practices, the view is that you belong to the land, and you don't walk on the earth, you walk within a field of consciousness that knows you. You're being held by the earth. You're walking softly upon the earth, because you wouldn't just like stomp all over your mother if you were walking on her. Hopefully you're not walking on her though. But the shamans will speak directly to the stones, to the mountains, to the oceans, which are mamacochas, and they listen for guidance from the land itself. They perform rituals to restore harmony between people and place. And in the shamanic lineage that I practice, Mother Earth goes by Pachamama. So the earth and the medicine wheel, there's many interpretations by lineage, and it's often associated in America. Here, it's associated with the north and the winter season, and the body and physical, the elders and wisdom, and the mineral stone kingdom. And it's the direction of integration, where lessons actually become embodied truths. Earth energy restores balance through grounding excess energy, such as anxiety, overwhelm, dissociation, absorbing and transmuting heaviness, and reconnecting you to your body and instincts. And in my practices, basically the Mother Earth loves to feed off of our heavy energy, which we call hucha. And so when you feel like you're carrying too much, going and sitting on the earth and releasing it to the earth, she actually loves that. It's like feeding her everything that she wants. And so you're able to release that and become lighter, and then and it's not a bad thing. You're not like, here's my junk, you know. You can drop your in our world, we could drop our sandbags into the earth. And then some earth healing in the shamanic world might look like lying directly on the ground, a burial or earth womb ritual, symbolic birth, or working with stones as carriers of intention. One thing I've been taught is called Pachamama breathing, and you lay on your stomach, and like I usually like put my head like that, but I'm on my stomach, and then you imagine we call it a Seki line, but basically like an umbilical cord coming from your belly button and connecting to the core of the earth, and then you just breathe in slowly, slowly inhale and slowly exhale, and this is a way of regulating your nervous system to calm down, and also release that heaviness into the earth, and also get some of that energy and vitality from the earth. There's like that sacred exchange. So the earth does not rush, and it teaches endurance, commitment, devotion to process. If fire is the vision, earth is the daily practice that makes the vision real. And some common earth allies include stones and crystals. These are the memory holders. Bones, ancestral connection. Herbs and roots for plant medicine. Clay and soil for creation and transformation. And these aren't tools in the modern sense. They are beings that you collaborate with, basically. I know one practice that helped me a lot in the beginning of my learning. I had lost my grandfather, and basically I had this rock, and anytime I just felt that just, I don't know, panic, heaviness, all the things, I would just blow it all into that rock, and just like, I kept the rock in my pocket. It was with me all the time, and it worked. It was better than medication. And then once I was done with the rock, I used it for something. I used it for something else. I changed it and released that energy out. But other people can go throw it in a body of water, bury it, just release it to nature and thank it for its help. But that's another way of working with the earth elements. It's free. It's here. Let's see here. So earth and shamanism ultimately ask one question: can you embody what you know? And it's not about insight, it's about the integration. And this is a simple shamanic earth ritual, and I'll just say it now. You can listen to it later, or you can also just do it now if you're comfortable doing that. But first, you sit or stand barefoot on the ground and place your hands on the earth. And then you whisper, or internally, your internal dialogue, state, "I remember I belong to you." And then offer your heaviness, which is the emotions, tensions, thoughts that that are not in harmony at the moment, and release that heaviness into the soil. And then receive, so you feel the stability rise up through your body like slow, ancient strength. And then name one thing you will physically do to honor that vision. Another thing I like to do is offer tobacco to the earth. I typically have like a whole bag of loose tobacco like in my car at all times. I don't right now, but just, you know, when I'm on any type of land, that I'm there, just, you know, connecting, giving the tobacco, is that offering is also deepening that connection and respect for that area. Okay, now I'm going to kind of shift a little bit. I was going to speak a lot more about earth, like working with the earth elements, but I'm going to save that for a different talk since I, you know, lost everything. But the base of all physical matter is ether, and also known as spirit, and it is a substance that's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And you got to remember, like, the earth and also us, we are made of all the elements, not just the earth element. You know, we all contain each element together in different variations and vibrations. And so the ether is infinite potential that constantly manifests and unmanifests itself cyclically, and the ether is hidden energy that vibrates to create the physical world we see and know. And it has 1 foot in the physical world and 1 foot in the astral. And so the 4 elements are the 4 vibrational states of the ether. None of the elements are pure. They are composed by each other through transmutation. And all 4 elements are born from the first element, ether, spirit. The 4 physical elements are the 4 vibrational states of ether. And earth has the slowest vibrations, and fire has the quickest. So a good example of that would be, like, if I had a soda can and I buried it under the ground and left it there. It's going to take decades. I don't even know how long it's going to take to decompose, honestly. And I know that because my underground, like the underground pool that my mom and dad put in, like when I was a baby, when my mom pulled it up and put in another pool, there was a beer can that was still, you could still read like Budweiser on it. So it's, you know, 30 plus years, still there. If you take a soda can, beer can, whatever, and you throw it into the fire, it's going to decompose, right? What, seconds? Maybe a minute? Maybe instantly. So, you know, if you want things to happen quicker in the mystical sense, fire is the way to go. But with earth, you know, there's a lot of patience there. Um, it's more of an energy for things to grow. I mean, yes, you can decompose things, but obviously we bury ourselves, right? But it's going to be a lot slower than someone who cremates themselves. And then I want to talk about the electrical planet. The Earth is a 6 sextillion, which is 6 followed by 21 zeros. So 6 sextillion metric ton battery. And it is continually being replenished by solar radiation, lightning, and heat from its deep down molten core. Just like a battery that keeps a car running, motor running, the wheels spinning, so too the rhythmic pulsations of the natural energy that's flowing through the surface of the Earth that keeps the biological machinery of this global life running in a rhythm and balance. So everything that lives on the land or in the sea, people, animals, fish, viruses, bugs, bacteria, there's 3 materials that are used, basically, using electricity: the conductors, insulators, and semiconductors. So the conductor is like the metal copper that's in your wires in the wall, or in the cord that's connected to your appliance that you plug into the wall. And the insulating material basically is materials that have no free electrons, so there's no current flow through these. And these materials, so it's like plastic, glass, rubber, wood. Yeah, that's another one. And just like in the, what was it? The semiconductors is like somewhere in between. And just like the Earth, our bodies mainly water and minerals. So both are good conductors of electrons, and that is what makes us and the Earth electrically conducive. I mean, we're electric beings. I've been struck by lightning twice. I don't know what that means, but it's happened. I guess I wasn't grounded very well. Vitamin G is for ground, and just like exposure to sunlight, is produced by vitamin D in the body, and it's needed for health. Exposure to the ground provides electrical nutrition from the electrons. So one thing I've found super helpful and healing for me is, first of all, grounding outside. I love grounding outside. I love going to the beach. I feel very, I feel like the concentration of the elements is so, like, it's so high there, because you have the sand, you're barefoot, the water, the ocean. You also have salt, which makes it a little extra special. But and the fire from the sun and lots of wind. And so you're basically just, bathing in the elements at a high concentration. But I know everybody doesn't have access to the beaches. I think I'm like about 15 or 20 minutes away. So I really try not to make an excuse not to go. But I also I sleep on a grounding mat, and I have like a grounding, it's about that big, that I take to work. It's like a grounding little mat that sometimes I sit on it, sometimes if I have the time to take off my shoes, I'll put my feet on it. But something to help me while I'm in my little, what do you call it, dungeon room all day long now. But a lot of people really say that the grounding mat helps their pain and inflammation. When I started using a grounding mat, I wasn't in any type of like chronic pain, so it was that was hard for me to gauge, right? But one thing I did notice was that, because I got it during the pandemic time, after I got my crazy COVID experience, and so from that point until I think the next year, or maybe even the next year, I can't remember, but it wasn't until I went on vacation somewhere else and I slept in a bed that didn't have the grounding mat that I could feel what it felt like not to have it. And I did end up getting ill during that time too. That could be because other people were around, but that was the first time I had gotten any type of cold, or because I had the COVID before I had before I purchased the grounding mat. I went back and looked at the dates. So that was really the only thing I could personally go by with like facts. But I know that like I do feel better if I have like an injury. I have the patches, which I haven't used that in a while. Probably should. But you can just put it on an area, and I don't know, you can put it up here on your head, put it on the bottoms of your feet in different different locations that match up with like acupuncture or nadi points. That can be helpful as well. And it's really good for people who are in cold climates that can't get outside and ground on a normal basis. Okay, so that's what I have for today. But I also I wanted I don't know if I want to bring this up or not, but I want to know what everybody I guess put in the chat. Yeah, put in the chat whether you believe that the earth is flat or round. Or you just go off mute if it's easier. Okay. Suzanne says the earth is round. Linda says round. Kelly says round. Has Christopher ever talked about this? I didn't think so. I would love to hear his take on this. I mean, I've always said round too, but then I'm like, what do I know? At this point, I don't feel like I know anything at all. And so I was reading a little bit about it, and I'm like, well, the information, I mean, it's just as convincing as teaching me that the Earth was round, So I'm like, if I didn't have that information and I got this information, I would believe that too. So, yeah, I just thought that that would be interesting to bring up. And you know, and something maybe Christopher will talk about it. Um, because yeah, I was looking at these images and they had the Taurus and everything, and I'm like, oh well, and talking about the North Pole and being magnetic and things, and I'm like, well, I mean, hey, maybe, I don't know. All I know is that the ground I'm walking on now is flat, but everything else looks round. Yeah. Definitely looks, like the moon, everything. It looks round, so I don't know. It's Christopher talked about the hollow moon. What is the hollow moon? Let me see. Let's look it up. Hollow moon theory, a fringe non-specific fringe non-scientific concept, suggestion that the moon is entirely or partially hollow, sometimes proposed as an ancient alien spacecraft or base. And it originated from interpretations of Apollo-era seismic data where impacts caused the moon to ring like a bell. Oh, okay. For long periods. Scientific analysis confirms the moon is solid, but less dense than Earth, with vibrations lasting longer due to a dry, rigid, and rocky interior, not hollow voids. And then there's some. It is interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. Cool. This is Asia Faye. That's the AI overview from Google, just so you know, for reference's sake, what I just read. Okay, and I was wondering if there's anything like that you guys do to connect with the Earth or honor the Earth, or things you do in your home to live more sustainably. Because I know, like, growing up in my household, I wasn't taught anything. No recycling. It was just, throw everything in the trash. So I'm learning as I go.
Yeah, I can say a few things if you want.
Yes, please.
So I'm a big green planet dwelling person. Also for the Earth and also for my own health. Everything in the house is the cleaning products, for the washing the floor, the dishes, everything. I try to get it all natural, biodegradable. The laundry detergents, even the dishwasher, I switched not too long ago to natural product at the health food store. Because it's for the planet, but also for us. It ends up in your plate, in your gut, and I use my bike a lot. Years ago, I had a diesel when it was a better alternative, and now it's now it's not clear what's better for a vehicle. You know, even electric is dirty to produce. Like you have to mine the lithium, and it's hard on the earth. And what do you do after with the, you know, to the batteries to when it's end of product? How do we dispose of those batteries? You know, so it's a big problem. So yeah, just some thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I in my area of the home, I have, you know, I use the better laundry detergent, so dishwashing. My grandma actually does like the seventh generation dish soap that I've purchased, so now she buys it as well when she buys something, you know. So yeah, those are simple swaps um, that can make a difference. I had someone in dance class when I was very young, like a young adult that had seizures, and she had told me that what healed her seizures was her changing the products that were in her home that she cleaned with. And that just always stuck in my mind. Not that I had seizures, but you know, I'm like, wow, if that can make such a huge difference, like what else is it causing for us, you know? Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Linda.
Linda.
I was doing hydroponics for a while. I went out and bought the buckets and the porous rocks and the little water pumps and the lights to hang on the ceiling, the grow lights. And I had several things that I was growing, and it's just the roots are rooting in the water. So it's water and liquid fertilizer and the rocks and an air pump to keep it bubbling. And I was growing greens like arugula, and I grew some tomatoes. I was trying to grow broccoli, but my cat would eat the broccoli sprouts. Every time the sprouts would come up, they would be gone before I could get to them. So, but it was fun, and I was really surprised because I was doing it in the house because it was, you know, winter and stuff. But I was really surprised that it was easy. It was easy to do, and some of them, like the arugula, it was like a bush. It was 2 feet tall, and I had a rabbit, so the rabbit was eating it every day, and I was too. And so I think that's a really great thing that people can do, even if they don't have a garden area outside or anything. That you can just get half a dozen buckets and things at a garden store and just read a little bit about it, and you can grow food and eat it. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love arugula. I need to get on that. Save some money. Anything else, guys? Okay.
Well, I've heard other people talk about grounding mats before, and I was curious about it. So now you've talked about it also, so it really makes me think about buying one. I've heard that you can get them the size of your whole entire bed, or just whatever size you want. So
Yeah. The one for my bed, it's not thick. What's the material? Um, it's almost like the material of this, like it's but it's the material. It's different because it can get kind of hot. So it's like I had to get used to it, because it's almost like a camping type of material, but it's still soft and it's just not very breathable. And yeah, it just goes right over the mattress, and connects with the cord. And so then it's like I know no matter where I'm at on my bed that I'm on the grounding mat unless I accidentally unplug it sometimes. And I can't remember if it was 2 years or 3 years. I had to replace it because probably from sweat or like feeling, wet, because I mean it was just myself. And in like the center, like where I would sleep the most, it started to deteriorate. But I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, and I just bought a new one. And this one hasn't had much issues. I mean, I think another thing too is like that maybe I like got on there with my towel and things. Like now I'm more conscious not to do those things, like, or get it wet at all from anything. So I don't know if that played a part. But yeah, I mean, with time, then yeah, it can deteriorate. But the mat it's thick and you can like roll it up. It's very durable. I've never had any issues with that. And it's about that size, and like you can sit on it, you can put it on the floor like where you're doing dishes or where you're sitting and put your feet on it. I mean, your pet could go on it if like, I mean, pets, that's why they like to go outside. They want to ground. It's natural. And then they also have the patches. And I can't remember, I think I bought them for 2 different companies. Like there's like grounding.com and earthing.com. And they literally sell the same thing, like the packaging and everything. So it's exactly the same. So but there's so many other products. I have like a pillowcase that I don't use it all the time, but I think I bought it for a cruise, and then I realized on the cruise ship, because I brought the little tester, and the tester just kept blinking back and forth. And but my friend, he said he always used it on the cruise. I don't think he ever brought the tester, because I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. That it would work. But yeah, I didn't use it. But it's another way to travel, like to have the pillowcase and it not be such a big deal. Sometimes I've brought the mat and just like slept, like put the mat, in like the torso of my body, or slept on that. But it's enough to where I bring it now if it's not a cruise ship. It's definitely worth looking into. Does anybody else use any like grounding supplies? And I think there's like whenever I bought it, it came with this book called Earthing, the most important health discovery ever, and by Clinton Ober, Stephen T. Sinatra, MD, and Martin Zucker. But I believe there's a YouTube, and I think it's called Earthing the Movie or Grounding the Movie. and that, it's free on YouTube. So it's something you could watch and get some more education about it.
I will. I would like to.
Good.
I like the idea when you were talking about writing down something positive that you want to do and burying it under a plant.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that with a house plant, right? Because then you'd see it every day and you'd think of it every day. That sounds really nice.
Right, and that intention is growing with the plant. Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. And it's manifesting into the physical, so
right.
It's great. Any questions?
As long as the cats don't eat it.
Very true.
Yes.
Any questions, guys? Oh, Suzanne said she has 2 of the grounding mats, and thanks for the reminder about using them. Sure thing. That's what these classes are great for, because a lot of us have the tools, and sometimes they start collecting dust. It just happens. Okay, well, I will let you guys go early. Maybe if you're able to, go outside and spend some time in nature now that it's quieter out there, and do some grounding before bedtime. Okay? You guys have a good night.